Hello, my name is Monty Cox. Thank you for coming and visiting the Feeling Fabulous channel. I'm going to introduce you today to the Feeling Fabulous cake. I promise you it's going to be the last cake that you're ever going to want to make. This thing is such a fun cake to make. I want to introduce you here real quickly to the pan, what the actual system is. The Feeling Fabulous cake is an amalgamation of two parts. A cake pan that I have designed and a specialized two-part cake pan. The cake pan comes in two parts, like I said. What I want to show you is that we have a base piece and we also have what I call an insert piece. What I want you to take a look at here real quickly is along the sides, spaced pretty evenly here, are indentations along all of the edges. Those indentations are actually bent towards the inside of the pan. Okay? And those little indentations or nubs create a little space in order to slip this insert into. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration here. And snap this into place. And what you can see is it holds in there pretty tight. This particular material is a material called that is commercially called Pantastic. If any of you are familiar with CK Products out of Indiana, CK Products also uses this particular material to manufacture a line of pans themselves for cooking for cakes. Here's a Christmas wreath, heart for Valentine's Day, Easter bunny, and a Santa Claus. This stuff is oven safe up to about 375 degrees. I don't recommend on my particular pan going much above 325 degrees, but it is oven safe. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside here for just a moment. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the cake batter, what you're going to be needing to make this particular cake. We've got our own line of cake mix. It's I believe the manufacturer on this is behind the scenes. It's actually CSM Bakeries, which is a huge bakery company. Who packages this for me is CK Products, also out of Indiana, which is also who manufactures the pan. This is just a white, not a lot of, just vanilla cake, not a lot of really strong flavor. It's meant to be flavored if you want to flavor it with something else, but it's a medium density cake. That's going to be very, very important for going forward, is using a medium density cake. There's not a lot commercially that is available unless you go to a bakery or a specialty supply shop to get it. Probably the best thing that I found in the grocery stores as far as a nice medium density cake is going to be Duff brand cakes. He does a really, really good job at giving the consumer a medium density cake. So we're going to make this cake, but I'm not just going to make it as a straight vanilla cake or anything like that. I'm going to mix it in here with one of these Lorann emulsions. I want to show you here real quickly. This is what's called an extract. You can see it, it's very, very thin, very, very watery. That is not how these emulsions are. These emulsions are so thick and they really, really stay in the cake mix. They don't bake out hardly at all. Lorann, if you go to their site, they have a ton of these. Just for showing you guys what it is, we've got some lemon, which is just like biting into a lemon head, a piece of candy. This is such a bright, bright lemony flavor. Princess, this tastes like a sugar cookie. If you want your cake to taste like a sugar cookie, by all means use this thing. Orange, coconut. This is one of the strongest coconuts I think I've ever had in my life. The whole house smells like coconut when you make a cake with this. My wife's favorite, cinnamon spice, and then my favorite. I'm going to actually make a raspberry based cake today. So I'm going to take the cake mix that we have used or had packaged through CK Products, which is their repackaging CSM Global's cake mix. And all I have to add to this is 1 3/4 cups of water and 100 milliliters of any kind of oil. Doesn't matter what kind of oil that you want to use, any oil or vegetable oil, what have you. And then I'm going to add in my raspberry. And I use 2 pretty good sized tablespoons of the raspberry. And then we'll go ahead and we'll mix this up. Okay, you only need to mix it for just a couple of minutes or so. Like I said, this is a professional bakery quality cake mix. Does really, really good. You can snap this together and use this, but what I typically do is I put my pans in the oven for just a few minutes beforehand at 325 degrees just to let them kind of warm up and become a little bit pliable. And I've got one in the oven right now, and when I pull it out, I'm also going to be using a release agent with flour. This is the baking release agent. You want to use the ones with flour. And I'm going to pull this one out, show you how to flour this thing up, and then how to pour the batter in there, and we will be good. Okay, that's right out of the oven. All I'm going to do is just make sure that all those little nubs are engaged right in here, and they are. I'm just going to shoot all four sides. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the batter. And I'm going to show you how to put this batter on here. What I want you to do is to remember that all of these wells that are in here, you want to make sure that that cake batter actually covers up all the wells. So that's actually the first part that I'm going to coat here. I'm not just going to dump this right here in the center. I'm actually going to cover all of these wells first. Make sure they have a nice good coating of cake on there. And then let's go ahead and scrape out the rest of it. One of the nice things about using this plastic pan is it cools down very, very rapidly. So here in just a minute or two I'll be able to handle it very, very easily without the risk of much heat being transferred into my fingers or anything like that. I'm going to make sure we get all of this stuff out of here. All right. Go ahead and put that in the sink. And what I want to show you is you can actually manipulate this here pretty well. Make sure that that batter is spread out throughout the entire cake pan. And that is really the whole process for getting this cake in there for the first time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bake this at 325 degrees for right at 40 minutes. And as soon as it comes out, I'll start the video up again. Okay, welcome back. The cake is nearly done. I think we've only got about 1 minute left on the oven here. As soon as the oven goes off, I'm going to take the cake out. I'm going to cool it here on this cooling rack that I've got here. It's going to need to cool for about an hour or so before you can do anything else with it. After it cools, I'm going to show you how to take the cake out of the pan, to be able to transfer it onto here, and how to be able to trim the cake up using a cake leveler. It is important that we level the cake before we put it right here onto the cake pad, and I'll show you how to do that. Much simpler than what you think that it is, and you'll see why having a two-part cake pan ends up being so important. It makes taking this whole thing out and doing this whole process so much easier. So much easier. So as soon as the oven goes off, we'll pull that thing out, set it over here. We'll let you take a look at what the cake looks like after it's been done cooking for about 40 minutes, and let you decide. As you can see, in the oven, there were no cake pans underneath here or anything like that, and no dripping. This cake pan does not leak at all. As you can see, the cake is thoroughly cooked, and believe it or not, it'll be the top of this cake that we'll be trimming off, and we'll end up flipping this whole thing over upside down and then peeling off that insert off the back of there. But this is what it looks like. Okay, now that the cake is cool, I'm going to show you how to separate the cake from the pan, how to trim it up, and how to put it onto the cake pad. Start by lifting it up, putting your fingers underneath, and just pushing through on the holes underneath until you can lift up completely and pull the cake out. Set the cake down, take your cake leveler, start in the middle. I'll adjust it down a little bit here. Hold on, just a little bit too high. Start roughly in the middle. Just kind of work towards the corners. Just don't start on the end. You can start just about anywhere else, but don't start on the ends. And then just follow that cut all the way down. You don't need to take too much off. You just need to level it. And then you are ready to flip this over right onto the cake pad. Just set the cake pad right on top, lift this up, flip it over. We're going to set this down. We're going to make sure, with the insert still on, we're going to make sure that we line everything up, making sure that all these purple marks right here, which are the most important, are all lined up right in the spaces of all of these wells. And then you just very carefully lift the whole thing off. And what you're left with is a cake with all of these little wells in here that is ready to be filled. So what I'm going to do, I've got some bakery quality fillings right now. These again are also manufactured by CSM Global, who then repackages them through CK Products, but these are bakery quality. This is Bavarian Cream. You just put a big dollop into each row. Bavarian Cream, just like what you have inside the donuts. Very good stuff. I'm going to change it up just a little bit, and I'm going to use some cream cheese. Just a little bit of cream cheese. Fill it up just partially with cream cheese. And then I also wanted to put raspberry in that same one. So I'm just going to stick this in and put raspberry. And remember that our cake base, what we flavored this whole thing with an emulsion, was also raspberry. Put raspberry right on top of that. Then our next row, this is really good. This is lemon. If you can imagine raspberry and lemon, like a raspberry lemonade. This is really, really good. Nice lemon. And those are filled up. And then peach. Put some peach in there. I'll show you how to level that stuff off. After I'm done filling it up, there's your peach. And then again, I'm going to do a cream cheese and strawberry here right on the end. So I'm going to put a dollop of cream cheese in there. And then a strawberry. So if you can imagine, when we go to cut this, you're going to have a raspberry flavored cake with Bavarian cream, a raspberry flavored cake with cream cheese and raspberry flavored cake with lemon, a raspberry flavored cake with peach, and then a raspberry flavored cake with cream cheese and strawberry. So here in a minute, after I'm going to show you how to level this stuff out, and then after that we're going to frost it. Okay, for leveling this stuff off, very easy to do. Does not have to be perfect by any means. All I do is just take a small little plate, take a small little spatula, just work it in a little bit just until that stuff is flat, scraping off any excess. Very easy to do. Again, it does not have to be perfect. You just have to make sure that it's fairly flat on top, because we will be icing this next. Very easy to do. And it's okay if some of the color runs just like that. Perfectly fine, not an issue. It will not make a difference when we go to ice this. There you go. That's it. That's all you need to do. Just make sure they're nice and level like that. Okay, we're at the point where we are ready to ice this thing. But before we go putting it into a piping bag and laying it on here, there's a couple things that we're going to do here first. One of the first things I want to do is I'm using just Dawn Select, just buttercream icing. You can buy this at just about any real bakery supply store. That's where I get mine at a bakery supply store. And but it's just regular old buttercream. You know, it's about all there is to it. CK Products puts these things out called Icing Fruits. Oh my goodness. This is a red raspberry icing fruit. This is going to add just a tremendous amount of flavor and color. Ooh, look at how thick that is. I'm going to have to get another spoon. It's going to add a tremendous amount of flavor and color to this. And this is really about all that you want to use. Just a few tablespoons of this. We're going to go ahead and mix it up here. And after it's done mixing for a few minutes, I'll show you what it'll end up looking like. Okay. Remember, we use the red raspberry icing fruits. And it took this frosting, or this buttercream icing right here, from a brilliant white to a really nice color of pink. And oh, that really smells good. It really does smell like red raspberries. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that much of this into this piping bag that has a big old nice wide icing tip. And as soon as I get all that stuff loaded in here, I'll come back and show you how to ice this thing. Okay, I've taken all of the frosting that we've whipped up with the red raspberry, put it into the icing bag, and we are now ready to lay this stuff right on top of here. Keep in mind, just like anything else, if you've ever seen people doing this before, nice steady even pressure, and then you just lay a big ribbon right on top here, just like that. Very easy, not too complicated, not too thick, just very nice even pressure. And we'll work it together here real quick. Do the sides. Doing the sides is very easy. Just a 90-degree angle. For those of you who might think that I'm a cake decorator by trade, I'm not. I have made a number of these cakes though, but it's very easy to do this. There we go. Now I've made far more icing than I needed to, but all you do is take a small little spatula, work it together, work the little seams together, and finish as you normally would. Very, very easy. Very, very gentle strokes is all it takes. You don't have to be brutal with it. You don't have to manhandle it or anything like that. Just very, very gentle, even strokes. And you can see that it's already starting to come together. Look very, very easy. All right. And that is really about it. Very simple to do, very easy. If you're a cake decorator, I'm not a cake decorator, but if you're a cake decorator, you know, you can probably do a much better job than what I'm doing. Then it's just a matter of working it back and forth, or putting any other type of decorations that you'd like to on there, or making the, you know, throwing some decorates or whatever else that you want to throw on top of there. I'm not going to finish it, but you get the general idea. Very, very easy to do. Not complicated to do at all. Very, very easy. There you go. Cake is done, and all you do to cut the cake is make sure that you're cutting with a sharp knife right on the lines. Cut and serve, and you're good to go. Thank you for watching. Please post any comments that you might have below this video. Thank you.